I love Four Hands not just because they're one of our top vendors and designers seem really enthused by their offerings. They're always staying a little bit before trend. Not too weird that you're not ready for it, but also not dated, and they get rid of the old stuff. They're kind of right in that magic spot. And I think they do it not just because they've got a passion for furniture and design, but because they have a process for everything. They're a very well organized company. And I think one of the places that was seen most on our tour was in their photo studio, which was my favorite part. It's this huge warehouse that has a bunch of different vignettes. It has cameras and for photo and video. They have actors. They have a whole room for props that they can just pull in whatever they need, including refrigerated flowers, so they're always fresh. They have another room for CGI and animation where they can get this all ready, and they have another room for all of their samples so they can check the quality, they can check color accuracy against their photos. It's just really cool, very well done, very well organized.
For anybody who's ever ordered a piece of furniture without seeing it, there's such varied quality from one vendor to another on photography. And sometimes that can be, it arrives and it's way better than you thought, but oftentimes that's not the case and it's much worse. And so I think their focus on like a Hollywood level of production quality where things feel super, super accurate and representative of what you actually receive is like critical to their success. So I think we should go see the photo studio. Also, those people were actors. I thought they were just putting plants and things in place. But they were dressed very nicely.
They're in the film studio, they had cool overcoats. I believe they were even bringing in a dog.
Yeah, I don't think they were actors, but we'll see.
Well, they were acting.
Yes, okay.
Maybe they're not paid for that.
I'm Kristy Greene. I'm the VP of Creative Services here at Four Hands, and I'm psyched that you guys want a tour.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
I'm very excited to see it. This is a very cool space, full of all sorts of furniture and camera gear and excellent creative service providers.
Yeah, thanks.
And as Alex knows, basically like the most technology camera-wise that I can operate is maybe not even my cell phone. It's like
maybe a flip phone,
like
from
one of those
2005 or something.
disposable cameras. So like I'm very eager to learn about this, but we'll retain none of it.
That's why
how
we got the
many
video.
square feet are here? Do you?
This is the question. This is all men want to know the answer to how much square feet do we have, and all women, we're all just like, So I think it's like 12,000 square feet. Is it 20,000? I don't know. This is like one of those things. Like every man at Four Hands.
It's so funny that I'm being called out for like loving numbers because our CFO is over there and knows that I don't ever know any numbers.
You know what? We'll run into someone here. I believe in staffing a team with all different types. So like, I come from a stylist background, so I don't come from a photography or technology kind of background. I'm super interested in all of those things, but so we'll find some number folks to answer that later along the way.
All right.
Do you have any non-numeric questions you'd like to kick off with?
No, I mean, just take us on the journey.
We're in a big photo studio. We do video, we do photography, and then outside of this studio, we also have a very robust CGI team, and we're all working together to make things beautiful. We take all the assets, channel them into our website and into our brand creative content. Then we show up at furniture markets with a team of amazing visual designers who make those spaces as beautiful as our imagery.
We saw some crazy machine on the way in here where you can like put a textile in it and it will take scan the texture. What is that?
So it's a material scanner. Basically, I came from a different company before I joined Four Hands. And the biggest challenge that we had with our CGI was that the artists who were supposed to be lighting artists, making all the scenes look beautiful, were spending all of their time making the materials correct, where we had bought a very affordable, AKA cheap, product models from companies overseas that are just looking visually at a photo reference and then trying to replicate that material on a 3D model. Here, since we make the products, we can actually take a piece of fabric, a piece of wood, and put it into this amazing contraption that has a series of cameras inside that take a lot of captures that can tell all kinds of scientific information about the material, the way it reflects light, how much difference in texture is on the surface, all kinds of other scientific stuff. and then create a 3D material that we can then wrap around an existing geometry that we've modeled. So we can bring products to market without having to create a physical sample, so cool. As long as it's an extension of an existing product.
Yeah. You said anything that's an existing product. Does your team get like the CAD drawings or schematics or something along with the actual product, or are you getting that before and preparing things, or is that just totally separate?
No, a really great accurate CAD helps the process for 3D modeling like significantly. It makes it so much faster to create the model and so much more precise. Still, like a lot of our furniture is made in a factory where someone might sit on a sofa and need to adjust the angle of the back. That's something that happens after the product is designed. So for a ton of our products, we don't really have a super precise CAD to work from. But then, case goods that are not something that you sit on and need to adjust, like a lot of those are really accurate, and it helps us get really good 3D models. Well, over here, we're shooting video, which is new for our studio. The most challenging part of our workflow is getting the sample. And once we have the sample, I'm like, let's maximize it. Let's do everything that we can with this sample before it gets shipped off to a market.
Do you have a checklist of the basics that everything needs? Like I need a drawers, doors open, backs, fronts, whatever.
We have like a robust guide for what kind of silhouette photography we need, and some of that stuff is captured in factory or overseas and where some of the products are produced. So we might be able to launch a product with the basics before it even comes to Austin. But once it comes to Austin, we try to make sure to really get all the things that are special, like video.
That's cool. You need walkie-talkies in here.
Yeah, and environmental imagery, which is the best.
Okay. And then once it's on set, are people getting creative with any addition? Like, oh, this might look cool that way, or?
Well, the stylist team will get a list of what's going to be coming in, and they'll make a plan. So they might say, this is the most interesting feature of this product. Our product developers and product designers will also input stuff into a tool that has all the product data. This ottoman opens and you can store blankets in it. So we have notes from the product designers, but then we also have the eye of the styling team who's figuring out our direction for each piece. So as products come in, as samples come in and are approved by the product team, they flow into staging lanes outside of this photo studio where we plan for them to come in and get a little assembly line of assets. So if we don't have good silhouettes, or if we just need additional silhouettes, or if we don't have any silhouettes at all, it will go to a bay to get the silhouettes of the product. That's everything that any e-commerce partner, or just the basics of the facts of the product, just with no visual noise to confuse anything. It's just very clear, clean, white. And we have guides so that all that stuff is consistent. Then the product will move to one of our environmental bays where we shoot an environmental image of that single product. We call them ESS, it's an environmental selling shot. So we're really trying to just say, you're so special, chair. Yeah. We want to show all your beauty, chair, not necessarily about the rest of the products in the room. The rest of the products in the room are there to give scale so that you can kind of understand how enormous a cabinet is or how small it is. And then context to make it just really clear to anyone who looks at the product where this is intended to be used. And then it may be in a room shot as well, like a giant room shot. Seasonally, we do a big photo shoot that's all the rooms, and then they'll flow to video.
Okay, so I feel like Four Hands is really good at creating lifestyle shots that both feel cool right now and still, to me, feel like they will sell the product in 5 years when maybe style has changed a little bit. That must take careful planning.
I think it's part of who we are as a brand. I think Four Hands, we're designing products that have a sort of timeless, we're not really leaning heavily into trends. I mean, we're influenced by how people are living their lives and what people are wanting in a moment, but We really are not going far into the land of trend, and we try to apply that to how we design our photo studio bays as well. Just, you know, beautiful materials, colors that are inspired by the furniture in our brand. And I think that that helps us stay like really connected.
I hear all the bays are getting renovated.
Yeah. Well, we do. I think part of the nature of being in creative is that we don't want to just do the same thing over and over, and things may not feel necessarily tired to customers. Like you said, like this imagery should still be relevant in 5 years, but we also just want to keep things fresh and keep our customers inspired. The people who are our super fans who are watching as we evolve and change over time, like keep it fresh. We just want to keep it fresh.
Yeah, and what are some of the key things that you think like it's time to freshen and change?
I have one bay that we don't use a lot. First of all, we've been in operation with this photo studio bay for about a year now. Okay. So this has been a true process of like trial and error. And we have some bays that just like the space planning just doesn't work super well for photography. Okay. Like we may have built a really beautiful, right? You may be really excited to build a fireplace into a photo bay, and then once you start placing furniture into that bay, you're like, this is not working. It's just not working visually. So I very much embrace mess around and find out. Like I like to get into any kind of creative and just like try a lot of stuff, have an innovative mindset that we can just adapt as we go, and some things are going to work and some things are going to be even better ifs, and we just kind of evolve and just kind of keep making things better.
And is the lifespan of a bay about a year, or is that?
Yeah, I would say about a year. I mean, we might do a paint refresh more frequently than that.
Are you using bays, any given bay, for all furniture categories, or do you put some, like if it's a kitchen island, do you have something for kitchen, or do you make it work over here? I
mean, we can make it work in pretty much any, we could make a kitchen island work in pretty much any of these bays, but that sounds like a great place to really utilize CGI. And right now we do almost all of our outdoor imagery with CGI. Places that are really specific, I feel like I rarely see photography that's shot in studio of outdoor products that feels like you're really outside. And that's just a great case for using technology to our benefit when we need to.
And how does the CGI interact with the real photography? Is it something either entirely CGI, or is it a mix and match?
Our CGI program is completely CGI. Our backgrounds are constructed in the tool. We do very little compositing, because if we're going to go CGI, we can just control so much more if we do 100% of it there. So the lighting. So with CGI, you have a sun, and we're making that all. We don't want to be matching a lighting scenario from a photograph when we could be controlling everything, and at the end of the day, it'll be more realistic.
We interrupt this video to bring you a public service announcement. Did you know that in the US, there are about 120,000 interior designers, and on average, each one is paying him or herself less than minimum wage? We don't like that, which is part of the reason we founded Daniel House Club. We used to be in a similar boat.
We used to pay ourselves less than minimum wage.
We did. It was really challenging, and even with a fairly quickly scaling design business. So we built Daniel House Club in order to make it really easy for interior designers to actually build successful, self-sustaining careers. It's a simple platform. We have no minimum orders. We built excellent customer service, and we put all the vendors and all the products in one spot, so you can just find what you want, check out, and move on to taking care of your client.
Damage is inevitable in our industry. Like, it would be a lie for us to say, hey, you're never going to experience damage. That's insane. But at Daniel House, we know that we need to help you all the way until your client is looking at a beautiful piece of furniture that they ordered and is completely satisfied. So our concierge services team is always here to help you. They're here to help manage your logistical nightmares and work with our vendors and our shippers to make it right for you. I love that degree of hand-holding. I'm someone who stresses out easily, and I just like
No, not from you. And I find that like such a relief. We think that you will too if you're a designer, and you should become a member today, either by using the link below or simply visiting danielhouse.club. It will be wonderful to no longer act as a procurement agent and instead spend the time designing that you always imagined you would.
And get paid.
Yes, key, get paid.
Back to the video. Sorry if I'm asking too many specific questions
No,
here.
I'm here for it.
How does the color matching work with like a CGI versus the sample? Are you gonna print it out and go walk it next up to the sample, or?
Not usually. So we're building a whole process. In the past, color matching has been a challenge because a lot of the silos are shot in factory overseas where there's a lot of lighting interference. And so today, if you look on forehands, there could be a good bit of variation. What we're doing is building a process where we are building a library of color accurate swatches. We're using that material scanner to create most of them, but we're also using photography. So then that becomes like a library for color of a particular fabric or material. And then we're building into our retouching process that when the photography is finished, let's say I've shot something new in this velvet that's on several pieces at forehands, we're gonna dial up in that library, that reference, and because color at the end of the day is like math and science, and make sure that all of that stuff is consistent.
It's what every creative loves to hear. Color is math and science. No, but that
It
makes sense,
is. And also, and that's not me, right? So this program is all driven by someone who's not particularly operational or mathy or sciencey, but just knows the value and benefit of having those types on the team.
Adam, when we were in the design studio, was kind of talking similarly, is the design drives most of that. Is that kind of the ethos of forehands? Is it's more, you're going to care more about the excitement of the product than the process, or are you trying to?
Not on my team. On my team, I feel like what we're doing is, I think it's just very different. I feel I'm sort of equal process and creative. I want to get amazing, beautiful results, and I want to do that in the form of a system. I feel like it's the only way to be like scalable in what we do, and I want my team to invest in scalable solutions as much as possible.
So you're saying you have a lot more serious job than Adam?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, right. No, not at all. Creative services, we're here to support. We are here to support the business at large. We're here to make sure that everything looks as beautiful as it's intended. But I just think by nature, it's a little bit more of an operational.
Well, you're really creating the face of the company. So it's one of the most important jobs here, I think. We rely on her services a lot.
I really am enjoying this conversation a lot.
I have maybe one or two more questions. Have you ever, or has this recently happened, put a photo out there that a customer or a lot of customers feel misled by? Are there any that are coming out really inaccurate?
I think we have a whole quality department here, and we have imagery on our website that's 10 years old. Like some of our best-selling products have been around for a really long time, well before I was here too. So I think that we do encounter issues where a customer will feel like the finish is not exactly precise, and then we just try to fix it. It's that mentality of like, if there's a problem, it's not the end of the world, we just fix it and move on. Do we need to reshoot something? We'll reshoot it and move on. And then we have, so many great sales representatives who, can kind of let their customers know, hey, we have new imagery for this product, and we're just trying to always just be better and just have a better,
That's a good goal.
better iteration out there. Yeah. And also products change over time. So as something's been in line for a long time, the material may be updated, and they may start just producing the inventory with a slight variance to like what we photographed years ago. So then we just need to get in and fix it.
And then I guess you've kind of started to answer this other question, but what did the process look like 5 years ago, 10 years ago? How different is today from?
I can only speak to 3 years ago. Okay. So I started here about 3.5 years ago. Our photo studio, the area that we walked in, that was just the offices, everything was taking place in there.
Wow. That's very different.
We didn't shoot single product focused photography where we're just trying to sell one product. It was white silos to sell the product and a few seasonal shots. And really that started during COVID when we had to cancel our markets.
Got it. So okay, interesting.
Did you join right before or did they?
Right after.
Okay.
So they made this big change. They realized, the C-level guys realized the importance of how much photography can sell a product in the absence of a market or anything like that. And they brought me in, and I came from like a much larger business where things were really operationally sound and we were really imaging just like thousands and thousands of products. I was so excited to be able to kind of build it from scratch and bring in the things that worked operationally, but also infuse the high quality for imagery working with a smaller assortment.
Can we ask what your background is? You don't have to answer.
So I went to art school and studied painting. So not your science person. I studied painting, and then I started working in retail. I started working with stylists who were shopping for like Law and Order or movies, stuff like that in New York City. And I was like, ooh, shop for a job? I want to do that. So I started styling for photo shoots and film and stuff like that. And then learned art direction, working for a major New York enormous retail giant. Learned all the business from the amazing merchants. They really like took me under their wings and just taught me all the business. And then I wanted to go from like a giant retail to like a more tech retail. And I worked there. I worked with the smartest, best, amazing people who taught me so much. And then I was like, oh, I want to work for a beautiful brand. I want to live in a beautiful place. I was like, oh, Four Hands? I knew Four Hands, and I knew Austin, Texas from South by Southwest, and I was like, this is the place for me. So I just really believe in the product. I believe in the design work that Adam leads. I believe in the culture here, and I'm just really, really psyched to be here.
Awesome. Well, we're excited you're here too. Just reiterating,
We are, because as an e-commerce to designer company, we're so reliant on great photography, and you would not believe the number of vendors who make fantastic product but don't have it.
Yeah.
So it really helps us
not to
tell your story.
directly shame anybody, so I won't name them, but we have people who makes like $10,000 plus sofas, $50,000, that have one photo.
Yeah.
And I mean one photo, and we cannot sell that.
And they're still saying, well, online sales just don't work for our product. And I think, well, that's because you don't have the photography.
Hey, I'm like so happy to work for a brand that believes in creative and has invested in this beautiful photo studio. It's a dream come true for me, for all the people on my team. I mean, there are tons of business people out there who don't get it, who don't think creative is important, who don't think photography, who don't really understand beauty. And like, I think product marketing starts with like having beautiful assets to sell the product, and happy to do that here. So our prop closet started as a pod in the parking lot. This is long before my days. But our head stylist, she's really a photo art director. She's been at Four Hands for 12 years, I think. And so when we started building out this photo studio, she was like, is this really gonna, I'm like, there was a pod in the parking lot. Like, she was really like, is this really gonna happen? And it's happened. And you know, we have just a beautiful assortment of props. We have antiques. We've hit up estate sales where we've gotten like real like antiques. Like you see that with the dragon. Estate sale, art collector, we got it for a steal. It's like an ancient Chinese vase.
And I feel like I see the way to get out of here quickly with that car. No. Our car is right outside.
There's actually a cobra inside that will come out and bite you if you try to take
Security,
it.
a guard snake.
What's the styling process? Is that thought of like well in advance, or
I
people
think maybe
walking
like,
in and
are they coming in
grabbing?
and grabbing and being like, this would be great?
It's a mix.
Yeah.
Like, I think in order to have an efficient photo studio, like, you know, a bed takes a long time to style. So they will look at all the products that are on the list to be shot for the upcoming week, and someone on the styling team will kind of make a plan for how the products are going to flow in. And then we also have a really strong like logistics guy who's like managing, you know, scheduling each bay to maximize our workforce and all the math stuff that I was mentioning earlier. I was like, yeah, I'll get someone else, somebody who likes to think about that. And then the stylist will make a plan, and honestly, like, I think that for the most part, our product is really that consistent, timeless. We're not going with trends, and like our props are the same. Like, they're neutral and beautiful, and the same kind of ethos that makes our product beautiful we apply to like our prop shopping. But we do plan for like a seasonal campaign. I don't know if you guys saw, like for fall it was modern noir, and everything's like enter dark mode, we're going dark, it's dark and moody. So we definitely planned both the lighting and the propping to kind of capture that sentiment. So there's planning that happens, and then there's also like running in, grabbing a cart, pulling a bunch of products that you think are gonna work for a specific piece, and just working with the photographers, taking captures, editing, getting feedback, and
As somebody
working
who
it.
is frequently planning, you know, clients' own interiors, especially when the budget is of concern, which it almost always is, like, this is so enviable because
Yes.
you kind of have to be like really confident that these tiny items that you selected are gonna make everything great.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to have the budget
Right.
for this huge library.
It's the value of being in-house, right? So if we were working on a photo shoot in New York, you would go to a prop house and you would rent all this stuff and hope that it works out.
Right.
But because we're here in Texas, because we are an in-house creative team, we just have our own prop, you know, closet and we don't have to rent. We have everything we need, and we're gonna have what works. So it makes us super efficient.
And I hear you're using these every day.
Florals?
Yeah.
Oh, florals every day for sure.
How long do they last in the fridge?
2 weeks. We can get
okay.
2 weeks.
Wow, that's
Nice.
I mean, to be able to get the fridge, we had to make a business case of why we need it,
We
right?
can make them last 2 weeks.
So, like, yeah, we save a lot of money by having this this floral fridge, so that we can use less. We can buy less flowers.
On the marketing side, with the noir campaign, for example, is marketing department kind of driving that and then coming to you and say, we want this look? Or is it design and say, ooh, this already looks moody, we're gonna match it with the
I
photography?
think it's this amazing collaborative process where we say, hey, product, what are you guys developing? Like, what are the stories that we're telling? And then saying, these 3 stories, they seem like we could just put those into this one. So there's like a real collaborative effort. My team is part of marketing, so we're like in lockstep in planning. So we're looking at what's being developed. We're having meetings to talk about it. We're kind of figuring out how to kind of both broaden out like how much product can fit into a story, and also still be specific with stuff that's going to feel different in the market. And then we'll kind of do some really robust narrative planning where the writers on my team are working with brand marketing leadership to make sure that, you know, the storytelling feels like us, feels different from other things that are out there, that we have a strong POV. Then we go into a photo shoot and capture the assets that tell that story, and then they go into the design and copy team where they're, you know, actually wireframing things out, or maybe we're designing a book to support, and then it just all comes together magically. That's really oversimplifying a lot of hours of work, but it's just that easy.
Is there any POV that you're particularly like you look back and you're like, I'm really proud of that? And is there one that you're like, like that feels old, or that was
Like stale and old? No. I feel like we have, over the past few years, my team has just completely transformed, and I feel like I never look back at the past as like something to not be proud of, because I'm a big believer in that whole iterative approach. Like we can only get better after we do this, So I feel like we're just constantly building on our accomplishments.
Thank you so much for the tour. This has been amazing.
I'm like so flattered that you guys wanted to talk to me seriously.
We are flattered that you spent so much time with us.
Yeah. Thank you for.
Anytime.
All right, we'll be back tomorrow.